Hey everybody, I'm Tim.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're here to read you the Church Bulletin. Yeah, we're never starting like that ever again. Nope. It was one of those great, Sarah was like, let's try this. I was like, oh, that's fun. It was like one of those ideas that it seems so good. And then you do it. No. It's like, what's like a weird food mix? It's like you think it would go good together, but it just doesn't. What do you think?
I don't know. I put together some crazy stuff.
I do too. I was just like, the weirdest thing. What's one of the weirdest combos was I was a kid, and it was, so they had like, it was like one of those old pizza places that had those ridiculous like salad bars that like post COVID we would never do anymore, but back then it was great. And someone dared me to mix like these 5 ingredients together, and it was weird. It was like chocolate pudding, cheddar cheese, shredded cheddar cheese, black olives. And I think that was it. It was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, the way the saltiness of the cheese mixed with that, plus the saltiness of the olive, consistency wise, and the way it looked, horrible. It tasted amazing.
My stepdad used to eat, I think, tomato and peanut butter.
Oh,
Okay. I'd have to ask my mom on that one.
Okay.
So, Mom, if you're watching like you usually do, just remind me, and we'll dive deeper into that one.
We will. We'll come back with that. But no, it was actually really good. And I don't know if I would eat it now. But at the time, I was just like, this is amazing. So for years, people called it, all my friends called it the Tim salad. And it was disgusting, but amazing. So you just never know. You never know what you're going to get. Church bulletin's like a box of chocolates. Quoting Forrest Gump, because I love Forrest Gump.
Well, we had to bring in one bulletin today because
I forgot.
Got changed many times.
Yeah,
and
I had like 2 versions, but this is the real one.
Yes.
It's being shipped now. We're excited. It's the new format, and this is really just kind of like a first draft sort of the new format, because there's things already that we're going to change, but Father Ross being away and us trying to edit this thing across an ocean, it was an adventure. But I mean, honestly, I don't even really have to look at this because I've looked at it so many different times this week, but it's okay.
Yes.
But on the front, this is a painting by Irving Amen, or Amen. I don't know, whatever. You can pronounce it however you want. But it is a picture of Amos, the prophet, who is the main character in the first reading this Sunday.
I don't go to the fellowship. I don't go to the fellowship Bible study that they do on Wednesday mornings. So
you do go to the fellowship.
I make the coffee.
Absolutely. You make the fellowship happen, just to be clear. Life of the party. But so now, so the introduction, we have all the things, and then welcome to the newly enlarged parish of St. Jude and St. Stephen, or San Esteban, as we've also been instructed to call St. Stephen's most of the time. So San Esteban, we're really excited. This is a partner parishes, which means they are 2 distinct parishes that are partnered due to the sharing of a pastor and resources. So we're really excited. Absolutely. We're really happy for all the people who are now a part of St. Jude Parish, who are going to St. Andrew's Church, or parish before. Now it's St. Andrew's Church, which is a secondary church of St. Jude Parish.
Secondary mission
church. Very important word, which means that there will be a Sunday Mass right now. It's at 7:15, leading into some really new and exciting information. We have all this like new staff things, all that. And then, of course, the secondary mission church, address of St. Andrews, and then St. Jude Parish Church, address St. Stephen of Hungary Parish Church, address, all that. So you still go to the St. Jude website to register, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, so you'll see more Espanol, some Spanish in the bulletin, a lot more. Our new weekend Mass schedule, which I started to say, that is now in the bulletin as well. So do you just want to read that off just for the fun of it?
So the weekend Mass schedule will consist of Saturday. We have one Saturday evening Mass. That's here at St. Jude at 4:30. Sundays start bright and early at 7:15 a.m. at St. Andrew Church. 7:30 here at St. Jude, followed by 9 a.m. at St. Jude. And there's one at St. Stephen's for now, because Father Cesar is still here with us. So that may change when Father Cesar leaves sometime within the next month or 2.
Yeah.
We have a 10:30 Mass here at St. Jude. And then we have a noon Mass at St. Stephen's, and that will be in Espanol.
Absolutely. All I'm gonna say, I mean, if you ever want to, you should start recording your voices for like airplanes or something. Because like I was just like, yeah, I'll. This was very calming and deliberate. It was very good. So
I was a customer service representative for a bank for 8 years. So you have to learn how to talk. Totally. Even though I got told by the 7:30 mass people this past week that sometimes I read the announcements too quickly.
Too quickly.
And I was
early
like,
in the morning.
I'm like, I'm barely awake, so I'm lucky to say any of them. So
yeah.
But I have to sometimes remember who I'm talking to and slow down my words and stuff. So
yeah. I was told that my brain and my mouth are very close together. Everybody knows. That's what I was told last weekend. So
yes.
It's just fun. But you use different voices and you do different things. Like I remember like learning how to do like a radio voice in college, and it's really the voice that everyone uses when they answer the phone. It's like you're like really happy and upbeat, and
until you find out who it is.
Exactly. Oh no, but it's a smile. Like that's the thing. Like if you do it with a smile on your face, it changes your voice.
I was taught that too. Like if whatever your face looks like is how your voice is going to sound. Yeah, for
exactly.
Sure.
So like I can be like, "Hello, welcome to St. Jude," or I can be like, "Hello, welcome to St. Jude," and it's funny because like you get that like fun like announcer voice going on. So you'd be like.
Well, that was just the weekend masses.
Yes. So then the weekday masses.
Weekday masses will be 8 a.m. actually here every day, Monday through Friday at St. Jude. And then we're going to also have so we added that Tuesday morning back here. And then we have Tuesday evening. And then on Thursday evening, we'll have in Espanol 6:30. So there's 2 additional weekday masses that got added, all here at St. Jude.
The mass intentions for those masses, I think we had about 3 weeks worth of the new Tuesday morning mass, but not a lot of people have been hopping on the Thursday Spanish one. So if you have a mass intention that you'd really like said, give us a call. They may not be available, but they may still be. Who knows? But yeah, that new Tuesday mass intention, we have a ton of daily masses still open throughout the year in 24. So please feel free to give us a call, schedule a mass for a loved one or in honor of someone. You're welcome to do that as well. They don't have to be in heaven. We can pray for people here on earth. And so there's that. But the weekend masses, we've talked about this before, but just a reminder, the weekend masses are booked through 24. So we're scheduling right now also for 2025. So if you have like a specific date or anniversary that you want remembered, now really is the time to come in or give us a call and get that scheduled.
Correct.
So we have
the CSA is correct in this one, this bulletin. Thank you so much.
Very good.
And thank you for everybody with all of your tithing through all the many different sources that we have for the week.
Absolutely. We have on the 20th and 21st, we had it in the announcements and in the bulletin last week, but it's coming up. But we're trying to give people more notice for things than just like the week before, just out of the blue. So this is a little excerpt from the whole letter that was in last week's bulletin from Bishop Persico explaining the National Needs Collection and what it's for. Next week is pretty straightforward. The main thing that's different is the Emmaus Soup Kitchen dessert drop-off will be on July 17th. And we've said this last month, and we'll probably say it again next month, but they're really good about coming by 11:30 to pick everything up. So you need to have your dessert here before 11:30. And you can place
try to even have it here by 11:15, so that way it's all ready to go.
So you can put that on the bench on the south side entrance of the church. It's just a good way for them to be able to just come in and get it. So there's that. Also, Uno's tip of the week. What is Uno's tip about?
Get your event in the bulletin. So if you have something that's coming up, or you want something else to talk about, you want the bulletin to make light of it, get it to us. It's best to get it to us like 2 weeks early. That way we can make sure that we have the space, we have the colors and everything else that you need to go with it. So
at least 2 weeks early would be great, because we also then can work with you if we have to adjust something. That's in there. That's one of the first things also, other than some of the little shout outs, the welcome things in the first couple pages. The first thing that is in Espanol. So pretty exciting. So I did the family reflection, as I always do, and then we'll transition into something new and exciting that Sarah got done this week before the podcast.
Right.
Not that you don't always get it done like right after the podcast, because it's usually like we walk out of here, you go finish the children's bulletins. But we're going to walk through that because it's actually really cool. It's cool every week, but I like this one a lot because it's got my favorite aquatic animal in it. So we'll get there. But for now, just take some time as a family or, as a couple or, whatever, by yourself to think about the good things in life. I was watching, I forget his name. I should remember because I'm kind of quoting him, but there was this English comedian who was doing an interview, and he said how people in the West, Western Europe, in the United States, have like there are things that we think like our first world problems, or it's like, oh, this is wrong or this is bad. Like he pointed out, he said, next time you take a shower and there's hot water. Oh,
like Father. Yeah.
Like poor Father Luke did not have this past weekend. He comes into the office. This is a little shout out to Father Luke. He's a great guy. We love having him.
Yeah.
He's away from the office this afternoon, or he would have been on the podcast too. But he came out and he's just like, hey guys, so didn't have hot water like all weekend. And we're like, this is like a phone call, But he's like, no, it's been really good for me. I'm like, he's one of those. This is hardcore, awesome dudes.
Yeah. So, we found the problem. It was easily fixed, not an issue. But we do have hot water here at St. Jude. Don't worry.
We do now. So that's
it was
good.
A switch that needed flipped. So.
But with that said, he said, how did he put it? He said, 100, 200 years ago, which isn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things. He said that was not available. Like, how
cold showers.
How blessed are we that we can take hot showers?
Even a shower. Like,
that's what I'm saying. They didn't really have showers.
Like if you look back, like there was a tub.
Yeah, there was a woman in the parish in Minnesota that I grew up in. Her name was Tilly, and I was probably like 11 or 12. It was her 100th birthday, and she's telling me this, like, so it's like 2011 or something like that. And she's telling me like these stories, like, but she says, yep. She goes, I used to come to church in a carriage, horse-drawn carriage. She said, my father wore coattails and a top hat. And I'm just like, that's weird. And one thing she said too was it was crazy. She goes, and between the two world wars, I think I liked World War II better. She said, because World War I, no one really knew what was happening. It was over there, but like World War II, everyone was involved, and it was better. And I'm looking at her like, who can say that? Well, if I had to pick,
I had to pick on which World War was better.
But it was interesting, though. It was interesting to like, because that was her outlook. She was who I was thinking about when I put this reflection together, because she just noticed all the little stuff, all these little things, because she remembered before many of them existed, and it's like, so even if it's just like you walk outside and it's hot and there's a cool breeze, like that is something to be grateful for. So keep counting your blessings every day, and hopefully that kind of helps, with one, your outlook on life, but also, how you pray. If you come into prayer negative and down, which if you're feeling that, obviously be genuine, go to Jesus as you are. Don't fake it with God. But it can really help, even in prayer, to like sort of turn your attitude around, because the best attitude is gratitude. So that's a saying I read somewhere. I don't know, whatever. So, but with that, the children's bulletin.
So with that, reflecting on family and praying. The church bulletin, like I said, for the next couple of weeks has a part of it is a vacation Bible school taken from the scuba diving deeper into your faith with God. So, but the cover has to do with a couple different things. It's Jesus with the children coming to him and sitting. So it's just a reminder of, sitting with family and praying. There's a question underneath it, because the gospel this weekend has to do with everybody being sent out and how they were welcomed and given food and stuff like that. And so what ways does your parish provide for those in need? So just something to think about.
There's a little shout out, though, real quick before you continue. Speaking of the children being welcoming. So my son, Carl, is on the spectrum, and every once in a while he'll just like, it's not that he's like we're like taking him to the back because he's too loud or something, but like he needs to like move or jump. He's just, sensing things, whatever, different. And I said that horribly, but whatever, sensory processing, all that good stuff. And he comes into the back, and one of the families that sits in the back, the two little girls like came over and were like, "Who are you? Who's this?" And their mom's like, "This is Carl." And they were like, and Carl starts jumping because that's how he, gets out some of his energy. He's jumping. And the two girls just start jumping with him. Like, okay, we're jumping. And they just, for them, it's like whatever. For Carl, it's like super necessary. But it was like the cutest thing I think it was like the most hospitable thing I think I've ever seen. Like, it was just so sweet.
Because they just joined in his
like
process.
didn't even think about it. Like, okay, we're in the back of church and we're jumping during the homily, and it's awesome. And I think that's kind of what Jesus is getting at when he's like, let the kids come to me. Just it's just let them be themselves. We don't have to adjust them. We don't have to turn them on mute or whatever. So it's exciting. But when I saw your cover, I was like, literally, like, there they are, the kids. It's so great. We love the kids here.
We do. And so the week 2 of Vacation Bible School is God is a Friend Who Loves. And it's really interesting because they use the story of Jonah in this one, and how God called Jonah to go to the people of Nineveh. And I can't believe I said that, because that's a difficult one of those words.
I was like, you crushed that.
Nineveh, yes.
Nineveh.
Anyway, work for the church longer, you learn all the words. Anyway.
We'll work on Sequarium and all those things later.
Yeah, so God got a fish ready for Jonah to sit in to finally hear his word. And it's, it's always a wonder. Like, we always like, well, God punishes people. God does this. He keeps you safe in those times whenever you think he's not there, or you're going through the stuff. He's there to keep you safe because he loves you, right?
Absolutely.
So when Jonah finally listened and, was let go from the whale, he went out, and the people repented when they listened to Jonah. So anyway, you don't quite know always where God's calling you, but you have to have a little bit of, faith and trust and put it that way. So, and as we scuba dive with all of our faith, we are learning about different animals. Last week was our underwater animals was a frogfish, and this week is a dolphin. Yes. Not only does Tim like this, but I'll shout out to my daughter one more time.
I love dolphins.
She loves dolphins also. So
it's one of her favorites. It's a Brian Regan sketch. He's a comedian, but he says, like, how cool would it be if you could like do what dolphins do at like the public pool?
Sure.
If you like were to walk up to the edge, you dip your toe in, and instead of like jumping into it's just like you just go across the whole thing. Doing the out of the water wave. I was like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted
I could actually
to do that.
see you do that.
I would. Like, people are like, what's your superpower? Some people want to fly. I'm like, I want to do the dolphin thing just across the top of the water. That would be amazing. Anyway.
I
wonder if that's how Jesus did it. Like,
So, diverting back to dolphins. Dolphins are they form friendships with other dolphins that last forever. And so that's just in showing of our parishes coming together, us merging these partnerings, all this other stuff, us coming together to work together to bring God's message out to everybody, to reveal Jesus as the mission here at St. Jude. But how dolphins just automatically work together to provide for themselves, to get food, and to move forward with their life under the ocean. So, Jesus used parables and that kind of stuff. So just think about how he just simply loved being with people. So, the dolphins loved being with each other, and how, Jesus loved being with us, the children, whomever. Just, let's come together and bring, reveal Jesus to the world. Another one we'll go back to. One of the saints in here was somebody that I learned about a lot later in life, but St. Mary Margaret Alquoque. And
I'm excited for this, by the way, because not because of dolphin things, but it's kind of silly, because this is why sometimes paying attention to what is in your church is important. Whether it be the way things are built, what's in the windows, like whatever it is, because you were telling the story earlier, and it was funny because you said, I've never heard of this person.
You either?
Yeah, because I've never been inside of a community that is dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus.
Right.
I know tons of other devotions. I know tons of other saints because of where I worshiped. But like, so tell this story, because this is neat, because you're telling me a story, and I'm just sitting there like, how do I not know that?
So when I was teaching confirmation, we did a stained glass window walk around Sacred Heart and
the church.
The church,
Yeah,
Sacred Heart over on
yeah.
26th and Liberty. Hi, welcome, Father Steve Schreiber. Anyway, I was just studying the windows, and most of them, 7 of them are the sacraments. It's pretty cool that way. And then there's just other random ones. One that I walked out all the time, and you don't notice things until you purposely go to look at them, to study them. And one is Fatima, which is really cool. And the other one opposite Fatima is Jesus giving the gift of the Sacred Heart and the prayers and everything with it to Margaret Mary Alquoque. So, again, there's one of those funny words that you learn how to say because you work for the church. But I had to go and like research that, and I went to the office and stuff like that, and it was something that we had never done like a big talk about. So it's now stuck with me, and that window like means more to me too, because with the Sacred Heart and stuff there.
Absolutely.
On the back, we just share some yummy food, a prayer. Fun fact: World Emoji Day is coming up next week. Is coming up on the 17th. So
that's a big one.
Again, the Children's Bulletin is not just for the children. It's designed. It has coloring pages, but adults have coloring books too.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just nice as an adult to remember our child roots and to come back to our faith simply.
Well, I think
I listening to something that was just like, sometimes when you think of prayer in that simple manner, you don't overcomplicate it, you can grow in your relationship with God. And honestly, I just heard a podcast or something about it with all that in there, and it's really true.
Well, what's interesting too is like I said, today at Bible study, I mentioned St. John of Canty, who I went to a church growing up. My home parish was St. John Cantius. Which that's St. John of Canty. And I mentioned his name, and everyone in the Bible study this morning, I mean, there are a lot of people who have been around for a long time and have been Catholic forever, and they're all like, who the heck is that? So I'm like, well, it's this guy. So I talked about him, and they're like, wow. And that's what's interesting, is it's like when you stop and you think about faith, because here's the thing, like there is so much faith, there's so much that we can learn, that I think sometimes because maybe of where we went to church or the experiences that we've had, not necessarily a bad thing, but you didn't get everything. So like even sometimes going back to the basics and learning things through the lens maybe that someone else learned them, like you did in this situation, then you learn new things. If you're, sometimes it's kind of like on its head, instead of it like, okay, I need to go find something new. It's like, okay, actually go back, maybe with someone else and review your journey to this point, and you might find like, oh my goodness, I did not know that. So it's okay to pick up the kids' bulletin and read it. There might be some information that you did not know, and we'll be super excited because we love the kids' bulletin. So, speaking of kids, congratulations to Edmund and Ethan. They just got baptized this past weekend. It was Father Luke's first baptism at St. Jude. He did a great job.
And he got to, he was so excited, and he shared during the baptism because he thought it was joyous that his like first baptism as a priest is for twins, and he's a twin.
He is a twin.
It was like, it was really cool for him. He was excited about that. Yeah,
absolutely. So it's hard to see them in the picture because we need to start taking pictures before the baptism, because after the baptism,
they were going before too.
They were, but before they were a little more docile afterward. I mean, they were both on. They were stoked.
Well, because really they saw the Easter candle get lit, and they're like,
this is my favorite.
Birthday. They started singing "Happy Birthday." That's what they recognized.
There was no one in the church. No. Well, just them over by the font, and it was super quiet. And I walk in, and all I hear is "Happy Birthday," and I was like, it is a birthday. It's fantastic. Completely unrelated to birthdays. We keep getting thumbs up. We must be doing a good job. That's like the third thumbs up. The 12 Men's Discipleship Ministry is on Monday, the 22nd, 7 to 8:30. Bugs and weather permitting, we'll be in the courtyard again, but we'll see what happens. So that's always fun and a good time. So gentlemen, if you're 18 to the end, you're welcome to come.
To the end.
To the end. To the end. So epic. Finally, last but certainly not least, we have a few things on the back. We have the stewardship moment, and it is in English and Espanol, so feel free to read that. It's always neat because we've talked about this before way back in the day when Father Ross used to be on the podcast. He will be again soon, I'm sure. Someday maybe, but no, he's excited. But we talked about this stewardship moment. It's interesting tying the scriptures to the stewardship of our finances and things like that. That's something I never did necessarily before. So it's a really cool reflection. So check that out. Also, of course, a little advertisement for this podcast, and then the 2024 St. Andrew Church Golf Tournament, which the proceeds for that benefit the St. Andrew St. Jude Food Pantry, which is currently located at St. Andrew's Church. So be sure to, if you love to golf, that is a great cause. We get a lot of people who are looking for something to eat, and many of them, that hunger is satiated at the St. Andrew's Food Pantry. So it really does minister to a ton of people. So please, if you like to golf, sign up for this. Go, and it might be a great way to meet some of our, newest, members of the parish.
Correct,
all of that. So cool event. So please check that out.
I was, just thinking about the stewardship part too. We always think, in the forms of finance when we hear the word stewardship and stuff like that. But we don't stress enough talent and treasure.
Oh yeah.
Time, is also a treasure. Or just.
Well, no, that's sit with that for a second, because you don't really think about that. But then if you think about, sadly the end of life, all of a sudden time is everything, and there's nothing if you think about loved ones who have gone on before us to heaven, think about it. If someone was like there's a price that you could pay to have a little more time.
Well, even
right, it's interesting when you think about it that way.
So Father Luke, one of the things he asked last week to start doing here was to visit the people that get the communion brought to them. So we reached out to Sue, and she got us some names of people who may just want to visit from a priest. Father Ross does that, but
absolutely.
In Father Luke's role here, that's something that he wants to. That he has on his heart to do.
He just jumped right on that.
So he made it. He called
and
went to see them.
Here's what I'm doing. And something else that's neat too is that is something that Father Ross does, of course, as well. But Father Joe, our resident, who when he's not, when he can come home. We love him, and when he gets to come back on break, it's always like a treat. It's always a great time when he's back here. We love him here. But all three of our priests, really, it's amazing how quickly they give up that time. Like we said, it's valuable, and immediately this is very, very important. And it just shows that, that everybody matters. Everyone has an intrinsic value that we want to, recognize and foster. And the goal, I was just talking about this. I had a meeting with Father Jason Fye today about a couple of things up at St. Francis in McCain. And we were talking about how a lot of times, we miss the purpose of why we do what we do. Yeah. Why is it important to have a full church on Sunday? It's not important for numbers, and it's not important for any other reason than we want that many people to feel or welcome to worship God, But ultimately, the goal isn't even to have full churches. The goal is to save souls. That's why we're here. And we were talking about that, and I was like, we don't say that enough. Why do we want to reveal Jesus? We want to reveal Jesus to save people. That's why we do Celebrate Recovery every Wednesday. That's why we open up the fellowship area in the office, the founder's room, to Let's Hang Out. Why? To create a community where people can come and feel the love of Jesus, to experience it in a tangible way. Why? So they can be in relationship with him in the church. Why? To be saved. Right, it's exciting. It's
what
just
it comes down to.
It's all connected.
And you really think about it. Jesus did. When he started talking, people came and they listened, and they sat in community, regardless of who was sitting next to them.
And they were always eating. That's what I love too. Jesus is always eating.
Always eating.
Oh my gosh. It was a Protestant pastor, I think it was from somewhere in the South, because he had this great accent and all this stuff. And
Sure.
he goes, Jesus got a reputation because he hung out with drunkards. Like and he said, so Jesus had to just kind of be fun.
Had to be.
Just a hoot. And I'm like, I never really thought of Jesus that way, as like fun to hang out with, because I pray, I talk to him, but like it just kind of, I went to
and
prayer.
And it's not like he joined in what they were doing.
No,
he just
didn't do
sat
anything
with
wrong.
them.
He didn't do anything wrong. But like someone, a friend of mine was like, do you ever think that like if you were hanging out with Jesus, like and like obviously he would not sin, but if you're doing something, like sure, I'll join you. It's like it's just like to put Jesus in a relational perspective is really healthy, and that's what we're going for. So please read the bulletin.
Grab a children's bulletin, and also included every week is just a little insert that has all the readings on it, so that you can read them with your child or just by yourself too. So that way, but we always stick an insert in the children's bulletin each week. So
all right, last thing before we go, there's been an incredible, I think really neat turnout of people who continue to come to church even though it's summertime. So it's awesome. So for those of you who have been coming, please continue to do so, and also feel free to invite somebody. Come with them to Mass. And if you ever need help explaining something, or if you have a question about what's going on, don't hesitate to call or stop by the office and have a conversation with us. We love to do that. That's honestly one of my favorite things. So be sure to
hang out.
Yeah, come hang out. Well, I don't know if you'll see it by tomorrow, but tomorrow or next Thursday, come hang out with us. So, all right, know of our prayers for you. Peace.
Have a great week.